Hello? Hi, Deanna.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm great. Looking forward to seeing some once familiar faces.
Are you thinking they might look different?
They might. I'm sending a reminder to Cullen right this minute.
Well, he emailed the group and said he was going to try, and it was likely that his wife and kids and dog would be in the background.
I saw that. He can go somewhere else.
Well, I'm guessing for him, like everybody, this is a tricky time of day and night.
Very, yeah. I've been with him at this time of day often. It gets a little noisy. How are you doing?
I'm good. How are you doing? How are you feeling?
Very well.
Good.
Out for a long walk at Horizons Park today.
Nice. Weather's perfect for that.
Beautiful. So have you gotten a good bit of response, or can you tell?
Yeah, really good. Oh, there's Martha.
Really. Hi, Deanna.
Oh, hello, Martha.
How are you?
I'm well.
Good.
I'm see you, but I see your name.
Yes, my son uses the Zoom usually, so I needed to rename it after myself because I don't think my classmates will recognize my son's name.
Well, that threw me off, Martha, because I was thinking, Alan, but the Massey, I should have gotten right away.
Oh, she is.
Yeah.
You and your T-shirt. It happened to me the other night. I picked up my Chromebook to get into my.
Oh, look, you have on the shirt. Oh, wonderful.
That is awesome.
I've been waiting for 30 years to wear this shirt again.
Is that from like a ninth grade
Graduation.
T-shirt? Oh
Yeah,
my
and you
God.
can see Doug Lewis was our honorary graduate.
Oh, my
Oh,
goodness. You know what? I bet Collins is upstairs at my house. I should go up and try to find it.
well, Deanna, if you still have it and don't need it, I love to keep, I don't know if y'all can see the variety of items I have in my office. I try to keep a lot of memorabilia that's unique. You know, not every class had a T-shirt, for example. Look at this. I bet you've never seen this. It's a beanie,
Oh, my goodness.
like a little person would wear, right?
Oh,
But to have some things that I really just love to show off.
those are great.
I might go get, please excuse me for just a minute. I might go get some other Summit memorabilia.
And I have a 1990 yearbook, if that helps.
Oh, I can bring my yearbook too.
Yeah, I have one, but yeah, you might want to bring it too.
Okay.
So Deanna, do you get on a lot of virtual experiences, or you prefer?
I've just about overloaded myself with them.
Yeah.
I've been taking a lot of things through the 92nd Street Y in New York.
Oh,
And some of these are one session, some are 2 or 3. I've just signed on for the reading of Proust, which will take me into May of next year.
wow.
1 volume a month.
How did you find that program? Or
Well, actually, Ann Johnston alerted me to it.
okay,
When she lived in New York
Okay.
lifetimes ago, they often went down to the Y for, free lectures and
yeah,
whatnot. But I guess during this time, people from all over the country have been enjoying these opportunities. And, half the time I'm feeling like I've gone back to graduate school.
right. So you really
Which
during
is-
COVID, you've really challenged yourself, where some people have really let themselves go.
Well, that's all I've done. I've let my garden go. I've let my house go, but
Yeah,
I do a lot of walking and reading my things.
yeah.
And I've let my hair go, unfortunately.
Well, I like your short hair. Do you still have it short?
Well, I do.
Yeah.
Let's see. How do I reveal myself?
Martha has a hat.
Yeah, it's my softball hat.
Oh my goodness.
Yes. And I got out this was our first yearbook. No, the light's shining on it, but this
Yeah,
says
80.
80.
81 or 80. Okay.
Oh,
Yeah, so our class was basically at Summit during the 80s, from 80 to 90.
Yeah.
Martha, before the throngs get here, remind me where you are.
I'm in Louisville, not far away.
Okay, down the road.
Yeah, just down the road. And Deanna and I taught together, when I was a kindergarten assistant with Miss Sneeden.
Yes.
Wow.
Yep.
Whom I still miss. I think of so many things I want to send her all the time.
Have you seen? Hi, Deanna. It's so
Hey,
wonderful
I
to
just-
see you.
Figured out which button to press.
Cool. That little video button.
So are you in education now?
Well, I'm sort of a student again. I'm always, I love it. I love school, thanks to Summit and my wonderful teachers. And so I'm working for Wells Fargo in Privacy by Design.
Ah,
So it's information security related, but privacy specifically protects people's personal information. And Privacy by Design is an effort to get our enterprise. Privacy by Design is a concept, And when it's applied at Wells Fargo, it's getting the whole enterprise to consider privacy risk when they start to design new products or projects or technology. Because usually it's been an afterthought, which is very costly and not as effective. It's kind of like trying to install the plumbing in a house after you've built it. So we're trying to get the plumbing in as the house is being built.
We were talking over the table last night with 2 adults and a 8-year-old and an almost 11-year-old about metaphors. And so you've used a couple. We were talking about somebody having used inappropriately too late to take care of something. And she said, well, I guess that cat's already out of the bag. And I thought, that's not what you mean. You know, the train's already at the station or the horse is out of the barn, but not the cat's out of the bag.
That's really, really funny. Well, I was glad to hear from Cullen that he's going to be on. And
I hope I just reminded him. We'll see what happens.
okay. And recently I rewatched The Notebook, and I saw him at the table, and I was like, is that Cullen Moss? And I looked it up, and sure enough, it was.
That's an oldie. That's a vintage piece by now, isn't it?
It really is.
Hey, Martha, do you know to watch him in Outer Banks?
No.
Is it Netflix, Deanna? I can't remember now.
Pardon?
Is Outer Banks, is it a Netflix production?
Probably. Well, yes, it is a Netflix production.
So Martha, it was available via Netflix. It was pretty early in quarantine, I would say. Like it must have been late March, early April. I mean, you could watch it obviously now, but
It's starting season 2.
it was getting a ton of attention at that moment in time.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have Netflix. Is there another way to watch it?
I don't know. I'm such a ninny, but I would say you'd watch it only to see Cullen.
Yeah.
Or if you're a 13-year-old, there are lots of hunky young kids, not Cullen. And so I think it's popular among 13-year-olds, but it's pretty crummy. I'll stop my reviewing of it right now.
You definitely want to watch it, Martha. It is definitely about a more high school age group of kids, but that will not limit your being entertained by it.
Okay, well, I might show my kids. Then here's our class photo.
Oh.
Yeah.
Let's see. Straighten it'll bring the top far.
Oh, there you go.
That's good.
That's great, Martha.
Oh,
Thanks.
well, there's Jordan. Her mom just went up to Virginia to be with them, mom and dad.
Doug Lewis is getting on, and Bryson Kohler, and I just had a message from Andrew Douglas that he will not be able to make it.
Doug will.
Okay. Amber said she couldn't either.
Okay.
Oh, Doug is getting on.
Yeah, Doug's getting on, and Bryson Kohler is getting on.
Yay.
It's really fun.
This is great.
Oh, what fun.
I don't know what happened to Bryson. So, Doug, if y'all want to unmute your microphone. I don't know if I can unmute.
Oh, I guess I can't do that. I was going to unmute him.
He's got it, I think.
There.
People wanted to mute me my whole life.
Now let us see you, Doug.
It is good to see you.
But we can't see you. Yeah.
Oh, you can't see me yet?
We just see your name.
You have to do the video thing where it says,
Oh, there's Christina Roche too.
oh my goodness. Buenos tardes, Christina.
Yes, yes.
There.
Oh, there
Oh,
you
hello,
are.
Ringo.
Hey.
Are you on?
Yes.
Oh, good.
We can see.
Hi.
Martha Lindo.
Yes, definitely me.
Who's that at the end there?
Oh, I guess I recognize him.
Are we going to get a report from you on how the school is doing, Michael?
If you want one.
I think everybody is curious. And I hope you, I'm glad to see you smiling and upright.
Mr. Lewis, can you see your name at the top of my
Oh my,
graduation picture?
yeah, that's a bit embarrassing. Yes, I do see it. And I saw Cullen Moss's name too.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I've been waiting for 30 years to wear this t-shirt again.
yeah, I don't wear mine very often, but I have it somewhere. Where are you now, Martha?
I'm living in Louisville. I'm not very far away.
And what are you doing?
I'm working in privacy by design for Wells Fargo.
Aha.
So I'm helping the bank build privacy considerations into their whole enterprise, policies, projects, technology, all over the place.
You didn't think much about that when you were at Summit.
No, not at all. I, studied Russian, and I still love studying Russian. And so I've been keeping up with the Navalny poisoning, and if there's going to be anything done about that. And I see my classmates coming in here. Hi, Elizabeth. Hi, Emmy.
Hey, Martha.
Hello.
Hi.
Hello.
Emmy,
Elizabeth, I like
Hi,
your
Mr.
background.
Oh, thank you. I love my background. It helps me not feel like I'm on a computer. I wish we were all right there together.
I wish
Yeah,
we
me
were all-
too. I have some more memorabilia to go get. I'll be right back.
Oh, I love that you have memorabilia. Oh,
Where are you, Elizabeth? Where are you actually?
Where am I actually? I live in Charlottesville, Virginia, and I'm in my house in a room with my dog.
I think I saw Christina.
Yeah, I'm here. Hola.
Hi, Christina. Hi.
Hello, Christina.
Hi.
Emmy,
Hey, how are you?
I'm okay. You're part of the Summit family these days, aren't you?
Well, I was, but I'm working somewhere else now, but I got my summer sweatshirt on.
Okay, there you go. Okay, sorry. And John, hi John.
Emmy, you can't just let that one go. You've got to explain it. Come on now. Throw us a bone.
All right. So I started off at my first home Summit, and I went to my second home, which is Salem Montessori, which is the whole reason I started teaching, was an observation I did 15 years ago.
Right.
So-
Back into the Montessori world. Is it a younger Montessori, or does it go into the older ages as well? Oh, I remember
we're-
that.
I loved it. It's a great book. Elizabeth gave this to me as a graduation gift. It has a lot of great quotes in it, and I've always enjoyed it. So
That is so great.
and
Ansley,
hey, John,
George.
and Bryson, and Ansley. This is wonderful.
Yeah. 1990 was my first year.
Oh, really?
That's why I joined you, because it was very significant. It was my first time as a Summit Spanish teacher. So it's a memorable year for me.
I think it was my last year there.
Oh,
Yeah,
I think it was.
we retired then.
Yeah.
yeah, I think you,
Nice.
Yeah.
you were.
Okay, John, you're hiding your ears. Are those earrings?
John. Yay.
I can't hear you, John.
Don, I don't know if you're muted or something.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I
There you
was.
go. You got it.
Somebody had to. This is my work headset. I think if I didn't have it on, you'd hear my kids. They're above me, and they're playing to bring down the house. So
How old are they? How many do you have?
just two, 11 and 2. So
Oh, wow.
and the
Wow.
11-year-old thinks the 2-year-old is bigger, so they roughhouse a little bigger. So yeah, big noises.
And George, I enjoyed your dream story that you told us about this reunion. I'm waiting for
Yeah, that
you
was pretty.
to
That
go
was
in
out
red
there.
pants.
It was a good time.
Yeah.
A good time.
I then had a dream about my own family reunion. That was a good time too. Somehow, like all my family, both sides, showed up at the same place.
That's a bunch of people, Martha.
That's a lot of people.
Yeah,
How often do you actually wake up and remember your dream?
pretty often.
Pretty often.
Mhm.
Actually, more often in some ways during COVID. Dreams are kind of vivid right now, I find.
Mm.
I mean,
Sandra, we don't have a picture of you.
I know I'm having a little trouble. I can hear every word.
Hi, Dr. Adams.
Hello, Elizabeth. How are you?
Oh, hanging in. I don't know. I've got a beach behind me just in my
Yeah,
living
she's at the
I
room.
beach.
see it. I
Great.
see it.
Yeah.
So at the top of the rock.
There you are.
Hi, Dr. Adams.
Oh, there you are.
Hello, everybody.
Hola.
Hola to you, Christina.
Dr. Adams, are you living down in the triangle these days?
Both places. Part of the week in Clemens, part of the week in Chapel Hill. Every week, back and forth.
Wow.
I'm in Louisville, not far from you in Clemens, so I would love to see you with a mask on sometime.
Oh, yeah. Look for Wonder Woman. I have a Wonder Woman mask. Thanks. to my
Okay,
sister.
great. Where did you get that? I would like one too.
Somebody made it for me. Some connection to Jennifer.
Mm.
Oh, Hank Willis.
So I thought
Ansley, are you in High Point? Or is that a long time ago?
I am in Greensboro.
Okay.
Right now, I'm in the mountains.
Are you staying there during COVID-19?
No, I took my nephew away for a week for some different learning. So we came up here yesterday. And I had planned on coming up here and working as well, but my position was terminated a week and a half ago. So
Oh,
I have a
no.
lot of free time. So might as well come up here.
Yeah.
There you
Stay in
go.
the mountain.
Yeah.
Oh, God, Ian, I'm so sorry. A week and a half ago, that's still fresh.
Yeah, really.
Yeah. This one hurts. I've been laid off before after 9/11, but this one was 8+ years.
Mm.
And,
Doing what? I forgot.
I was in publishing for the company that owns the High Point Furniture Market
Oh, my goodness.
and the Atlanta Market and Las Vegas Market. So obviously, since our main event is having people come together,
Yeah.
they've been very hit by COVID. So, and unfortunately, I did not make the cut. So,
Sorry.
I'm sorry about that.
So sorry.
lo siento. Exactly. I've been through worse. I'll get through it.
You said. Yeah.
Bryson, are you in Atlanta?
I am.
How's it going?
Atlanta's good. I've been down here since, I don't know, 97. So
Oh, a long time.
I guess Atlanta's home now. Everybody's here. All the kids are here. My parents are here. My brother's down here. So,
Wow.
Atlanta's home. Although, I don't know, we're back in the office. So I was in the office today and be back in the office every day this week. So we're trying to get back to normal. We'll see how that goes, but I don't know what normal means, but
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, down in Atlanta, 5 kids.
You have 5?
Good for you.
That's entertaining. That's entertaining.
Never done.
Busy.
I'm not bored.
Good.
Not bored.
Wouldn't want that.
What's your age range?
So Austin is 16, Beck is 15, Emmy is 14, and there's twins, boy, girl, that are 12.
Oh, my word.
I am so touched. You name somebody after me, Bryson?
I I did.
It's a lot of teenagers all at once.
Right. How are they doing with COVID?
Dude.
Like all of them in the house together.
Luckily I'm a tech guy, so our home internet bandwidth is a gig up and a gig down, and it works. But 2 are back in school face to face, 3 are currently virtual, and another 2 will go back face to face November 5th. So we got another 30 days plus to get them back. So then we'll just be down to 1 in virtual, assuming that the world doesn't blow up between now and then. But
No kidding, with wildfires and
50-50 chance of
storms
that.
and
it's crazy. And I mean, I don't know, talking to people around the world and what's going on in Europe, and they seem to be kind of going back into another wave. And
I know.
every time I talk to the team in Spain or in the UK, I get more depressed. So I'm like, no.
Yeah.
Hey, so I wanted to introduce myself to some of you that I don't know. I'm Sarah Dowerful, and I'm Director of Alumni
Oh, really?
Engagement. Oh, Sally Meehan's coming in. Let me let her in, please. And I really want to leave most of the bulk of this time for you guys to be together and chatting with your former faculty, staff, mentors. I want to thank Martha Benbow. She and I have been talking about a virtual get-together, but really before that, we were talking about an in-person event. And this week, we celebrate Founders Week, celebrating the birthday of the school, and it's become now kind of our signature reunion weekends, if you will. So what I'd love to do is extend an invitation to y'all. We'll put it off 1 year and invite you in September of 2021. And the class of 1991 will be here. The class of 1971 will be here. We'll all be here together because that will be better than being on a Zoom call. But Martha and I decided that while we would rather be in person and Summit would rather be hosting it here, that's just not possible these days. And so virtual is still an option, and we're finding that, again, it's not the same as in person, but it sure does bring a lot of community, and that's what Summit is so proud of, that we still have so many connections in so many places. And you guys are such a good representation of the diversity of where you all live. For example, I wanted to let you know, I just heard from Alexa Memory that she won't be able to join you. Andrew Douglas said the same, and Hank Willis. So they were kind of late just in these last few minutes to say they had other engagements and families to attend to. I would love to talk to you a little bit about Summit School and what's going on, but Michael Evelyn, our head of school, is on the call, and I think he can do that really well. And we felt like you guys would just be curious and interested and want to know a few things, even if they're super high altitude. And then again, leave a lot of time for just conversation and fun between you. So Michael, if you want to chime in and share anything with the class of 1990, cheers to 30 years.
Well, it's lovely to see everybody. And the last thing I want to do is to get in between friends. So I'd have been A-OK without saying a thing, but Mr. Lewis would have none of that. I'd be in trouble if I didn't tell you a little bit. Hey, so Doug, do you want to ask me something? Is it something in particular you want me to share?
Well, what time does your school day start? Yours.
Okay, that there are questions that are out of bounds, and that question is out of bounds, Mr. Lewis.
Look, I used to have to get up early to decide about snow days.
Yeah. So now we get up early to decide about pandemic days.
Yeah.
So, go ahead, Doug.
Yeah, we just wondered, have you had to isolate pods or?
Yeah, it's a great question. So I'll really sort of compress it for y'all, and then you can do your thing. We started on campus on August 25th, and everybody came. Except we have a hybrid program. So we have 515 on campus and 40 kids doing hybrid. And hybrid for Summit is using what Henry Heitman, y'all probably know Henry, calls FRED, Front Row Education Device. And he's manufactured this crazy thing for each classroom, really using pretty low tech to get a high-end product. And it essentially allows children to enter the classroom and to be a part of what's going on. And so they attend a significant portion of the day, but of course, they can't remain on the screen for extended time. It wears them out. It's in so many ways not good for them. But there is a sort of cool thing that does go on every so often, that children will grab the laptop, and sometimes the other children who are at home want to go to lunch or go to recess, and they bring them with the laptop. And I don't know, I find that absolutely charming, and it's really fun to watch them with each other. So Dwayne Amon and his crew essentially recast the campus. There are probably 10 or 11 tents where classes are held. We try to get them outside as often as they can be. Sarah could describe for you the sort of directional signage we have all over campus. There's tape down to show the various directions you need to go. There's signs on the doors. I suppose one of the things that surprised me most was how adaptable the children are to the masks. The least of our issues, without question, has been the children masking up. And of course, if you have masking, hand hygiene, and distance, which do you think is the most challenging with children?
Distance.
Yeah.
They want to hug each other.
And that we all want to hug them. And so, you know, you do the best you can, but they're doing a fantastic job with the masking, and the teachers have been extraordinary. That won't surprise you. I mean, they're teaching the children in the room, and then most of them have at least one or two kids who are coming in on the screen that they're teaching at home. You have to see it to believe it, but it really is happening, and it's happening better than I would have dared imagine. So really, unless Mr. Lewis has something else for me.
Well, what are you doing about lunch?
Lunch is, in some cases, delivered in its little containers, and in other cases, depending upon the grade level in the class, they come to the dining hall, which is no longer a dining hall. It's a transaction station. So they come to the dining hall, they pick up their ready-made lunches, and they bring them to another space to eat. We can't have a communal eating space.
No. Wow, what a lot of stuff to juggle together.
Yeah. Well, congratulations on a good opening.
Absolutely.
And may it continue.
Well, thank you, Mr. Lewis. Thanks for the questions.
It was a softball because I knew you'd have the answers.
Thank you.
So is there anything else that we can offer to you? I'm going to stay on the call. Michael may not be able to stay too much longer. I wanted to mention Sally. You can see that Sally and Jordan joined us, so thanks, ladies. This is a great showing. It really is. I'm thrilled. And I wanted to mention, too, I am recording, so if somebody's uncomfortable with that, let me know. My only intention really is maybe through some social media channels just to show that we had some reunions this year in our publication, but I don't want you to think it's going to go far and wide. But if you're sensitive to that, I wanted to make sure you knew it was being recorded. But for our posterity, not for any sort of commercial use. So is there anything else that we can talk to you guys about Summit, the structure? I think the school day looks the same. For example, today the sixth graders were given their orange and green spirit shirts. And so what that means is the ninth graders formed an arch using pool noodles so they could stay distanced. And each sixth grader was told whether he or she or they is on the green or orange team. And so they ran through the arch, and there was a lot of cheering, and Screech, our school mascot, was present. So it was a spirited day so that the sixth graders, as they're joining that upper school team, obviously can now exist on either the orange or the green team, and that I hope you'll be thrilled to know that rivalry continues. It's a heated contest every year, and then we'll finish the week with an all-school spirit day, which historically might have meant we met in person in the gym and had some great activities and fun games and a lot of school, nostalgia. But this year we'll just simply celebrate with some signage at Carpool and making sure that everybody's wearing orange and green. So another thing I'd mention, just because I think it would feel good to you guys to know, I think the spirit of the Summit alum is one of a lot of fondness for the school. The 8th grade class is working on an empathy project, and the genesis of it is, as you know, everybody's wearing a mask, but when you take the mask off, you might put it down and lose it. So they've created some very beautiful bejeweled chains for us, for the staff and faculty. And the gesture was that they basically thanked us. I wish I could read the note to you, it makes me cry, and said, "Thank you, Mrs. Dalrymple, for making it possible for us to return to school. And please accept this small gesture of our appreciation." And so the entire 8th grade class is working to get one of these mask chains to each staff and faculty member. So just sweet little things that continue to happen on the campus, along with the academic rigor that you would expect, but just some of the fun and softer things that happen along the way. So those were recent, and I just thought you might, Sandra's smiling because she's so proud of the 8th graders.
I am.
And Ainsley, it's your sister Julie who's behind it, so you probably already knew about it. But those were just a couple of cute, thoughtful, sweet, spirited things that I could share with you that are super current. But please ask questions. But really, I would prefer that you guys get the time together and enjoy each other as classmates. I know it's been a few years since you were together as a group.
Sarah, talk a little bit about 3-year-olds, how they are handling things.
3-year-olds are about the cutest thing you could see on a campus like this. I mean, all kids are cute, right? But if you're 3, you're really quite young, right? And so there are 2 sections this year. They're capped at, Michael, correct me if I'm wrong, 12 students per. Obviously 2 full-time teachers and 2 part-time teachers working with them. And one criteria is that you need to be potty trained, as you might imagine. But these darlings come to school same time everybody else. They leave a little later, of course, and they are in the most well-situated classrooms with some adaptation for their size. In those classrooms that you might remember where staircase went up to a loft, or a ladder, really, that was replaced with a very sturdy staircase that was in part built by our staff and a year-round staff person that serves as a carpenter from some of the bleachers in the old gym. So the cuteness abounds. So yeah, ages 3 to what, 13? Or you're 14 when you finish? I guess it depends. So your lifetime here is no longer 11 years, it could be 12 years, you see. So it's really quite fun.
Let me ask, how many of the alumni have not been back to the school in 30 years? Are there any of you who have not been able to visit? So you know how much it has changed since your days there. Dr. Adams got excited about building.
And we did build.
Hi, Jordan. I haven't seen you.
Where's Jordan?
Right
Oh,
here.
I see her. Hi.
And Sally's
Hi,
joined.
Jordan.
Good, Emmy.
Well, despite all the building, I think the same benches for basketball are still up against the wall in what we call the new gym, which is where the wrestling matches are held now. I was
And
there
it still
last year.
smells just the same, doesn't it, Martha?
Yeah, it sure does.
Say something.
And also, while we have 3 out of the former, or 3 heads out of the 4 total heads of school, and with our class, we went to see Miss Futrell at what do you call it?
Arbor Acres.
Arbor Acres. Yes. And so one of my favorite memories from our time was Summit's 50th anniversary on the football field, where we paraded around the school. And then Mr. and Mrs. Lewis, you took off in a hot air balloon after we buried
That's
the time
right.
capsule. So I just don't want anybody to forget to dig up the time capsule. I think it's 2033 that's when it's scheduled to be. It's 13 years from now.
We should set a meeting invite.
That's true.
It might still be Zoom. We can do it.
Or below.
Does anybody have any favorite Summit stories they'd like to tell?
Back to the gym benches.
Yes.
I think some of the old risers were taken to create the stairs that go up to the 3-year-old room instead of the old ladders up to the loft.
Correct.
Oh, yeah.
And Dwayne said there were actually pieces of gum still underneath some of the seats.
I don't know.
How could that be? I mean, certainly we
how
didn't put them.
wonderful, Sarah.
I don't know how they would get there.
No,
We couldn't chew gum in school.
right. Do you remember that
Bill
one of
Carr.
Mr. Carr's favorite punishments was to let you scrape gum off the bottom of the desk? No, not that any of you would have been punished, but that was a favorite.
I do recall that.
That was one of his good ideas.
One of his great ideas. Yes, it was.
So I moved in, when I moved back to Winston, I moved in and my next door neighbor for about 6 months was Madame Lane.
Oh,
And it brought back memories of when we used to be late to French class. And she would lock us out if we were 1 second late and say, "Okay, Mr. Carr." And so one time she was about 5 minutes late, and so we locked her out.
Oh,
good.
remember that.
Fair.
Seems fair.
Y'all remember? And we said, "Go to Mr. Carr." She's like, "I am sick," and we're like, "Oh, sorry." So bad.
I have a memory that just came up actually literally in the last 2 or 3 weeks where a friend was at Stone Mountain and talking about the different, how there's a couple of different places you can go and water slide. And in our 9th grade trip, Mr. and Miss Lewis helped us go to one of the water slide places, and George Seberg played Indigo Girls on the guitar at that event. I remember it well. But really, actually, I got kind of wrapped into thinking which place it was, because I had thought there was kind of just one spot, but there's 2 or 3 water sliding spots at Stone Mountain. And so Mr. Lewis I'm glad to see both of you, and I'm wondering if you could tell me which location at Stone Mountain where we were.
It was probably the Lower Falls. She wondered where they would have gone.
Yeah, our cabin, we have a cabin. We used to own the Lower Falls when the state park was created. They took it over, and I'm glad they did, because they could protect it better than we could. And so it would have been easiest access to the Lower Falls, and that's a good sliding falls. And then we stayed at Camp Cheerio up on the hill, and there was a rather big wind.
Hey, that was Hugo, wasn't it?
Yeah, Hugo come through when we were there.
Oh, that's
Right.
right. At that time, that must have been some of that.
That was fun.
Oh, sure, they all were.
Oh, this whole, of course.
Yeah.
I remember Cullen, you and I were lying. We chose to throw down our sleeping bags right by the front door.
Yes,
Big hall as Hugo came in.
you got a little damp.
Got a little damp.
Anybody by the screen windows was kind of out of luck.
Yeah.
Didn't Sarah
remember we had
Doremus have
this-
like a window fly in on her? I feel like someone had to like catch a window.
John.
Oh my goodness.
I think a dog was over, and we had to hold on to Elliot Blanchard when we went in hall.
We saw him sail away holding on to a roof, a shingle, I think. There's I remember walking to the cafeteria or wherever it was to eat at Camp Cheerio. I remember everybody practicing the idea of standing against the wind and leaning, seeing how far you could do the Michael Jackson.
When we got back on campus, the leaves were blown all over the place, and we had done and there were a couple of ginkgo trees, and you could find those ginkgo leaves in totally different places because of the hurricane.
It's good, 'cause I need one of those for my leaf project. I never could find
Deanna Moss.
Leaf project trauma.
You have leaf project trauma?
I do. I did very badly on that assignment.
I remember the Leaf Project. Oh my.
I still remember
So grateful for that leaf project. I can identify all the trees.
I think Helen's is still upstairs in the press that we made.
In the press.
I think those were Tom's
You would have the best leaves.
directions for making the press.
You had to get a certain number of leaves, and I remember being with Jason Peterson in Old Salem. Well, it was getting dark, and the time really that you needed to start pressing them had passed, and it was raining, and we were trying to pick enough leaves to finish the project.
That's impressive that you went to Old Salem for your leaves. I just walked around campus, which is probably why I only had maybe 4 leaves when it was all 70.
Y'all didn't know Granola had the leaves already identified. You just had to go over to
So
Granola.
I think I did Ronaldo Gardens.
Poison ivy did not count as like.
And I remember when we went to the state park, and Mr. Lewis, you said to us, do not say to the park ranger that rhododendron is a magnolia leaf.
The thing
Okay to chime in.
I think that while you or we were up at Camp Cheerio, Mrs. Moss was entertaining an overnight for kindergartners at Summit.
Oh, yeah.
And Summit never lost power in that storm, whereas that's your bird.
That's my bird, yeah.
Whereas much of Univista did, and parents around town, even their phones went out, and so they had no idea what was happening, but their kindergarten children were the safest ones in town. And Ann Johnson, and I've forgotten who else would have been with you.
Probably Ellen Bonnet.
Ellen Bonnet. And
I think Elizabeth Meinberg was my sleeping buddy that night, and her nose was sort of pressed to mine with every gust of wind. I'd forgotten we had storms.
Yeah.
Biggin. That was I don't know if it was after Hugo, or I don't know if it was after that one in particular, but I remember I don't know how I don't know if anybody had a license, but I remember driving with Teddy and John Lovett after one of the hurricanes, and there was a sunroof in Teddy's car, and John and I doing the idiot thing of standing up on the sunroof, and we were looking at each other or something, and heard Teddy yell something, and there was a power line that was down across the road. John jumped back down in the car to not get decapitated by this down.
Oh gosh. Things you would not let your own
Now
children
you know.
do.
Well, I mean, since we're on that topic, I was with Jim Cantori a couple of years ago. Well, this was probably, I lose track of time. I don't know.
Was this before he got all buff, or?
No. I mean, he still was wearing the black T-shirt, right? Anyway, he asked me like what my memory was of childhood and what was the first storm that I remember kind of being out in, and I actually offered the Hugo example at Camp Cheerio.
Yeah.
You know, early love affairs with weather. So.
Also had a tornado.
I was going to say
in
that.
8th grade.
Yep.
That was, I think the damage was actually worse during that.
Oh, it was terrible.
It was at my house.
I remember, I think that was when Versailles Country Club was torn up. Like massive trees down everywhere.
The Old Salem too, like
Oh,
all the
yeah.
Yeah.
trees down in the God's Acre at Old Salem were 200-plus-year-old trees taken down. That was terrible.
Mm-hmm.
You guys had the weather, let's face it. Doug, you had a dramatic last year with this class.
Oh, yes. Yeah, tried to go out with a bang.
Yeah, you did.
Was that also the year that we had that huge snowfall that put us out of school for about 4 or 5 days? Remember we had one year where we had to extend the school day?
Mm-hmm.
That's what I did.
When was that?
I didn't know that was our
that year or the year before, I think.
I feel like that was like 6th grade maybe.
Okay.
Yeah.
By the
Yeah,
way,
that was a real popular decision Doug made on that one, extending the school year. You all loved it.
by the way, there was no one in my home by the name of Missy, and I think that's what my name reads as right now.
Yes, it does.
Is that your next role, Colin?
I like the name,
the role of Missy.
I just thought you were trying to get into character.
Right.
I'm trying. Oh.
Are you shooting right now, Colin? Did I see that y'all started the next season?
Yeah, we did. Hold on, I'm trying to jump there. Yeah, I started shooting a few weeks ago on it. I've only worked a few days, but I'll be back next week.
How is that kind of work during the COVID world? Are y'all swabbing and rapid testing, or?
No, we're the elite, and we're kind of untouchable. So we throw caution to the wind. It's crazy. It's a very different landscape. I mean, swabbing every day, temperature checks. There's an app you have to check in on and go down this list of questions about symptoms and who you've been in contact with and stuff. And then the app tells you may proceed to work. And then you have to show them that you answered the questions appropriately and when you arrive. But yeah, everybody, I mean, all the crew is masked. Unless the cameras are rolling, the cast is in mask. I mean, it's masked rehearsals. Wow. And we each have our individual tents, little isolation tents, to which we are confined between takes. I mean, instead of it used to be such a social thing, and that's much less true now. You go sit in a tent by yourself where you can take your PPE off. And you get put in timeout. But it's interesting. It's wild. It's kind of it's a microcosm of what can happen when everybody's doing what they ought to keep in production and to keep things moving and it's working. So
all of the rules. And
totally.
Wow.
Colin totally did me a solid on he got my students all starstruck. I overheard some of my 8th years last year talking about this new show, The Outer Banks. And I was like, well, I know a guy that's on that show. And they were like, what? They totally freaked out. So he came during quarantine and did a Zoom discussion with my class while we were all in quarantine, and they were just totally starstruck, and it was so much fun. And
that was great.
I really appreciate that it definitely gave me a little street cred with my middle school So
Even though it was just the dumb cop.
I made no promises on your behalf. So
John, welcome to the call.
John?
Which John?
Thank you.
Oh, John Lovett.
Love it.
Thank
Hi.
you. Thank you. It's good to see you.
I
It's
see
been a
John
long
Lovett,
time.
right?
Love it. Can you confirm the story with Cullen about stealing a car? And
I didn't say stealing. I did not say stealing. I said we were riding in a car
No license, I'm
after the
sure.
hurricane.
Yeah. I can confirm that story. I think it was the tornado that we had when we were in like 8th grade, 9th grade. I didn't hear the story, Mrs. Adams,
Uh-huh.
but
yeah.
I can attest that there was some tomfoolery going on when we were
I-
far
no
too young to
doubt.
be doing it, riding around in a car after everybody in town had lost power because of some sort of a hurricane or a volcano or earthquake.
Tsunami.
It was the volcano of '89.
Definitely.
Yeah.
We haven't had a volcano yet, so maybe.
This might be the section
Are
of
those-
the recording that Sarah doesn't post on social media. Right. Good to see you, John.
So do we have any do any of you wonder where a particular classmate is? Because I thought while we're all here together, if there's someone you're looking for, maybe somebody else would know where they are.
Sure, everybody. I mean, that list, if you sent an email that included everybody's email, I was like, whoa, you just connected us all. We're gonna.
Sarah did that, so thank you,
Well,
Sarah.
In hindsight, I probably should have hidden those emails. I mean, that is a big bad development office flaw on my part, but I hadn't been using calendar invites so much this year. So I'm sorry I revealed your emails, but I'm glad I revealed your emails. And that it only went to the group that was invited. So, anytime, that brings up a really good question, Martha. Anytime that y'all can connect us with someone that, you wouldn't necessarily know if their address or email is missing from our database. But for an event like this, because it was virtual, I really needed to have your email address to share the link with you. So I did send postcards to folks that we don't have an email address for, and it's quite a few. So unfortunately, they aren't included because there's no good way to give you a link in a printed format. But for future reference and for next year when you have your 30th in person, that will take care of itself. But anytime you can encourage folks to stay in touch with us, share addresses, emails, it really is so helpful because we want you to get our magazine. Our alum magazine prints every spring. We do an annual giving report every year, of course, and then we do a news. And we want you to get those things too. So anything you can do to keep us connected with you, your siblings, obviously many of you had siblings who went to Summit as well, or just classmates. Just always send them, to me directly or just using the alum's address.
That reminds me that Sarah Doremus Ferguson was the first person that I saw respond to the invite, and she was planning to come and have her graduation apron with her. And I don't see her tonight, so I can follow up with her.
Martha, do you keep up with lots of folks in your class?
No, I don't. And but everybody is very close to me in my heart. And I think that's kind of why I moved back to Winston-Salem. But somehow the connection hasn't happened. And so that's why I really wanted to be part of this because, hang on just a second, call at the wrong time. Because I just love I love Summit. I love my teachers. I love my classmates. Those were wonderful, wonderful years, and I felt so close to everyone. And so that's why I wanted to do this.
Sarah, thanks for making it happen. I'll just put a plug out that we should all maybe be sending some prayers out in the universe for Sarah because she's in Truckee in California. So I don't know if the fires have anything to do with why she's not here tonight, but it's a beautiful place, but I'm sure is being impacted. Right now.
Sure. Elizabeth, do you keep up with lots of folks?
No, not nearly as much as I wish I did. There's people on this call that I'm like, I just want 3 more hours. I mean, I just want to hear how everybody's doing and what you're up to. And Facebook's a pretty cool thing. I don't know when it was. Was it like a decade ago that we all kind of linked up maybe for the last reunion? And so that's why I know Sarah's in Truckee, for instance. But I see ginger ale commercials with Cullen that I'm like, I know, and I tell my kids, and they're like, no way, that's so cool. You know, so there's that, but there's not enough of that for sure.
Yeah, I was watching The Notebook the other day. My son had his girlfriend over to watch a movie, and she wanted to see The Notebook, and I was like, "Is that Colin Moss?"
In The Notebook. What? I gotta look that one up.
I just keep watching him get eaten in The Walking Dead. That's oddly satisfying.
Oh,
I had it coming. In that one.
You did.
Playing another Southern twit. Yes. Now, I like what Sarah, what you were saying, and Elizabeth, just like, I wish I'd kept up with everybody better than I have, but it's always here. And I mean, like Sally, I mean, I know when I'm back in Wilmington, where I was gonna try to get up, and you managed to get us all together at your house that one time.
Yeah, or is that Tabor people though? I feel like that was
Tabor. That was Mount Tabor people. That was Tabor people. But I just wish that it all happened more often than it does.
Well, I'm gonna say adios.
Adios.
I see Martha Bimbo almost every week playing tennis, and I've seen a lot of my students, and they're always recognizing me, but I sometimes don't recognize them. But I see a lot of people from Summit since I'm in Winston. So I love it. Thank you for making me part of this family. Adios.
Adios,
Adios, senor.
Adios.
I have a question for John Holland.
Yes.
John, were you not cycling a great deal at one point, and perhaps you still are?
That was actually my brother. He did a bike ride across the U.S. and then he did one up from Idaho to Alaska. So
okay, I confused the siblings.
Yeah, that's okay.
Is he still doing that biking thing?
I don't think more so locally. He adventures every 4 or 5 years. He kind of takes his trip and does something typically charity related. And his last one was maybe 2 years ago. So, periodically, but he's spending more time with his daughters, kind of outdoor education when they're not in school. So but he's up in northern Idaho right now. So.
And you're doing adventures with baking, aren't you?
I am. Yeah, I picked up.
Talk about that a little bit.
Well, I just I started about 3 years ago, kind of shortly after we moved to Texas, and just enjoy. I don't know. It's that creative outlet. Someday I'll be great in British and baking in a tent, but until then I'll be mediocre and average and doing it in Texas. And it's that fun creative outlet just to, I don't know, have something outside of work, and life with the kids is crazy. And so that's what I do at night when they go to bed.
That is so great.
Yeah.
Where in Texas are you, John?
I am in San Antonio. So we've been here about 3 years, though. We were out in Oregon and Washington for about 20 prior to that. So kind of circling the country.
Have you been to the basement of the Alamo yet?
I've been looking. It's been locked off. We tried, but I think it's in such high demand that they've had to limit.
I imagine.
Yeah. I think my bike's down there, though.
Why you're not biking, right?
Jordan, you're moving, aren't you? Or have moved?
We just moved. So we were in Fayetteville, North Carolina for 10 years, which is very rare in the military. But since my degree is in developmental psychology, I was determined to have my children stay in one place for as long as we possibly could. So we are now in Carlisle, Pennsylvania, and then in June we'll move to Utah. So lots of changes on my horizon, which I don't do very well with. So, but
From
yes,
Fayetteville to Utah.
yes,
What,
yes.
that's,
We're going to the most remote military post in the United States. Yeah.
Wow.
Which is where? Where is it?
It is Dugway Proving Ground, Utah. It's about an hour and 45 minutes. I think, I'm trying to think whether it's, I think, west of Salt Lake. Tooele is the closest town, which is through a mountain pass, 45 minutes through a mountain pass. So it is so remote that the kids and my husband will just go to work Monday through Thursday. So we'll have 3-day weekends every weekend. So we have ordered an Airstream, and we're just gonna spend time in our Airstream and tour the West Coast. So,
Right.
Nice.
yeah, it'll be really, really not up my alley, but I'm gonna do it.
You are. You're gonna do it.
I am. So yeah.
Jordan, I feel like maybe that was all classified. You should have told us.
Now we know.
That seems like a little too. Like,
Now I think some of the stuff they do out there might be a little classified.
Area 52.
Miles from the NSA.
Yeah, it's like Area 59 or something.
Well, I do have to say, so when we found out we were going there, I tried to get a picture of like the post, and literally it's like this little green spot in the middle of brown desert.
Oh,
I was like, wow, that's really amazing. Are there coyotes out there? Yes. Rattlesnakes? Yes. Okay. It'll be great.
And no one around to help either.
I know, right? Exactly. Crazy.
Back to George's dream. Does anybody talk to Jason Peterson?
Just through Facebook, but I mean,
Yeah,
not
just through Facebook.
That strange voyeurism of Facebook where it's like, oh yeah, I keep up with him. I look at people's lives. I actively like things that he does in his family.
So you know him well.
Oh, brother.
Right, best friends.
You got a great haircut right now.
His child is cute. I think he's in Texas.
They're in Dallas, yeah.
Dallas. There we go. Yeah.
Yeah.
I apologize, everyone. My kids, there's something happening, and it's nearing Connor's bedtime, so I probably need to bolt. But if there's ever a reason just to get together and have a night or something, let me know. I'd be happy to turn on my webcam and do that. So good to see some faces, and I think some of you I haven't seen since we left. So
Have a good night.
Good
Thanks for
night,
joining.
and let's do this again.
Yeah.
Take care.
Okay.
Bye.
Sounds good.
Take care, man.
Everyone. Thank you.
So who all, before John left, I was going to ask who all is in Winston-Salem? I know Amy and Sally, right? And Martha, you just moved back?
And E.T. and
Right.
Travel and Tate just moved back like
Oh, wow.
last month.
And Laura-
Wait. Tate Foster moved back?
What?
Tate Foster moved back to Winston?
You did. Yeah. And
I'd
her
like to
kids go
catch
to
up
my
with her.
school. Her kids go to the Montessori school where I teach.
In Clemens?
No, there's Salem Montessori School in Old Salem.
Okay. All right, thanks.
Where they collect leaves periodically.
You
You
can
know,
get
Mark.
some leaves.
Just ginkgo leaves. Just ginkgo.
Just ginkgo.
Very limited leaf project.
Actually, Colin, I moved back to Winston a long time ago. You know, you and I caught up in Philadelphia, but I moved back to Winston about a year out of college. And I became a teacher at Summit. I was a kindergarten intern and a Latin teacher and a basketball coach and a softball coach.
So cool.
Good time.
I didn't know that.
I actually feel like about a third of our class is in Winston now, when 5 years ago it was way lower, right? I mean, a lot of people have moved back in the last little while, which is cool.
Maybe we need to have an outdoor soiree, summit
Down for that.
class members who are back.
Plenty of room on the playground. Get on Fort Tally. Walk around.
Not there anymore.
It's changed.
No, it's changed, but it's great. My parents live right near Summit, and so when I'm in, we don't go to Winston very often, but when we go, my kids think of that as the playground because we just walk right over there, and it is so great. The renewed, I still call it Fort Tally. I mean, it's just Fort Tally on steroids. It's really big, really good. It's great for hide and seek, all kinds of games.
There's another Summit connection with the show that I'm shooting, Outer Banks. Our director of photography, like we had some group Outer Banks thread, a text thread, and all of a sudden the director of photography sends me like my 7th grade yearbook photo from Summit, and I was like, what? That's posted nowhere on social media. And I was like, how the hell did this happen? His uncle is Mike Smith,
Oh, goodness.
Coach Smith.
Yeah. Oh.
And he's like, he said, I was talking to my uncle. He said, I think I taught one of your actors on the show. And it's like, absolutely, 7th grade English. Red Sky at Morning.
Oh, that was Ansley's project. Sailors Take Warning.
That's right. Red Sky at Night, Sailors
Delight.
Big flight.
But yeah, it might. So Coach Smith, Mr. Smith, English teacher Smith. That's anyway. It was a real winner of a picture that he found and then put on the group.
I'd like to see that one. You didn't have a mustache then.
No. Well, not of my own. I owned a collection of mustaches, I'm sure.
I'm sure.
Here's some of our kindergarten pit photos.
Oh, gosh, look at that.
Oh,
George,
hi, Bryce,
George,
new person. Hello.
That's my wife. There's Shelly. Hi.
Hi.
Hi, Shelly.
Hi.
You wanted to see the pictures that you were putting up, so she was like,
Okay, I'll put up some more. Let's see here.
And then Bryson and John, you guys are both in Atlanta. Do you live in similar parts? It's such a big city. I don't,
no, I mean, it's like really pathetic. We don't make use of the fact that we're within 25 miles of each other.
No, but it's funny, after not seeing Bryson for what, 25 years probably, shockingly, my son is dyslexic, and I walk into like the first day of like the parents' night at the dyslexic school here, and I'm like, that's Bryson Kaler. Like Bryson like gets up and like gives a speech and is like a ambassador parent, and was very welcoming and nice, and so we've seen each other a few times there, but that's about it.
That's cool though. Small world.
We're pretty pathetic that we don't make use of that. So that's on me. I owe you a beer, John.
I feel the same way.
I think that's just life. Let's all give ourselves permission to just have life
exactly.
right now.
That's fair.
Oh my God, look at
Thank you.
Jazzy Mothershed right above it. That's nice.
Matt Mothershed.
That was
My-
9th grade. That was your 9th grade.
That was 9th grade.
Tell us.
Matt, does anybody know where Matt Mothershed is? Anybody know a thing? What's it?
Matthew, he was there.
One of my favorite, not favorite memories, but most vivid memories is on the track field talking with Matt and talking with Andrew, Andrew Dust. And the lacrosse team was practicing right nearby, and I hear, "Look out!" and I saw this thing bounce off of Andrew's head, and I assumed it was a lacrosse ball. It was a disc thrown by Matt, the discus.
Who did it hit? Andrew?
It
Yeah,
hit,
he got hit really bad.
It bounced up right off of his dome.
Vaguely remember that.
And
Yeah,
then
it was really bad.
blood just started pouring over his head. He was like, "Oh wow!" And anyway, but Matt, I think the lookout came like a fraction of a second before this thing bounced off of Andrew's head, and he weathered it well.
That makes me remember. Do you guys remember when Bob Klutz climbed?
The fence.
Yes.
I was thinking about that yesterday when
That was
I
so
saw a kid
I
climbing
mentioned
over a
to this
fence.
day to never climb a chain link
Yeah.
fence.
I
Yeah.
tell my kids that.
Now, what was the story behind it? He was going over the fence for something. What
He
was
was going over to get a ball.
Yeah, go get a ball, football.
Yeah, it was just like we were on that field right there, like kind of by the science building, and somebody like threw a frisbee or a football or something over the fence in the neighbor's yard. And like we had all done a million times, he just like hopped over it, but he misjudged it or whatever.
I still remember what it looked like.
I remember that vividly.
Oh no!
Hanging from the barb, right?
Yeah.
Well, he sold me my life insurance about 15 years ago, so clearly he has recovered. Doing well for himself. Nice young man.
Did you ask him for the barbed wire fence discount?
I should have. I missed an opportunity there. Missed an opportunity for a little childhood shaming is always, always good. These things are so awkward. I love it. I mean, it's just I've done
I did see
different
the
context with different friends, and like it's a strange social phenomenon. But everybody.
George, I think you asked about Tadashi. I lost track of Tadashi a couple years ago, and I've been trying to track him down since, and I lost track of him. So if anybody knows anybody that would know, let me know.
I think he's in Japan.
Yeah.
No, I lost track of him when he was in. But I
Are
can't.
you using LinkedIn?
I mean, yes, but
He's not
I
answering.
can send you. I'm friends with him on Facebook. I mean, I haven't like exactly kept up with him, but I can send you his information for sure.
Do you know what he's doing in Japan, John?
No.
Just being on Facebook.
Sadly, no. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I know he's got a couple boys, I think.
Mm-hmm.
But I haven't spoken to him since. I haven't really kept up with him. Facebook friends, but I can pass along his information. Anybody who wants it.
I saw him about 10 years ago, and that was it.
Huh.
So.
Did he break his arm when you all were in the 6th grade? Was that Tadashi?
Nose.
Yeah.
He got hit in the face with
His nose. Okay.
ball.
Yeah. Some injury. I knew it was an injury.
Oh, speaking of that, I loved the fake casts that we could get at May Frolics.
Oh yeah.
My favorite too.
That was so much fun.
The fake casts were great. It was almost as good as the lemons with the peppermint.
Oh.
The porous peppermint stick in the lemon.
Colin, don't you have your apron?
I do have my apron.
You should be wearing it.
I'm sorry, Mom. I'll go get it.
I'm gonna get mine too.
Missy, you need
with my apron.
Behave, Missy.
My sons have cooked with that apron.
Not many people get to have their reunion from school with their mother. That's like a special.
I think you have to have a screen name of Missy to do that.
Missy, yeah. I have a 7th grade boy, and he did a cotillion, like a version of like, our cotillion kind of stuff that most of us did from Summit. And I have such memories of the learning to dance and the dancing, and then I got to go watch him have that kind of fun, embarrassing, how do we dance kind of moment last year, and it was awesome for him, and so many memories just flooding.
What's the name of the woman that ran that cotillion class? What was her name?
Loretta Balin.
Loretta Balin. Thank you. I couldn't remember. I was going to say Flo, but I was like, we didn't just say Flo.
I have a question about Floretta because I was talking to Ashley Moser, and she said when they were bad, they would get locked in a dog cage.
We never did.
It was like,
I don't remember that.
I don't remember the dog cage.
That was definitely bad.
Dogs running around like a little poodle.
Do you remember a fake mouse on the record player and then John Barber and Leon wrapping tape around the tape around Floretta Balin? Yeah.
We should all name one thing that, you know, like that could not happen today without being in prison. So
Yeah.
probably being locked in a dog cage is one of them.
At your dance class.
That's your dance class.
I think there was a lot of things going on at Floretta Balin Dance Studio that would not happen in modern American society.
I was never invited to.
Even at the time, I was like, wow, really?
Yeah.
Well, so do you remember one of our plays? It was Saturday. It was Friday Noon Live. Do you remember Friday Noon Live? And Cooper Williams was the Floretta Balin character.
Oh, I remember that.
Which, Mr. Lewis, you made us rename. We couldn't go call her Floretta Balin. According to you, we had to call, so we called her Frances Dancelier.
From way down in the memory bank, Martha, I'm impressed that you remember that.
Oh, I had a scene with whoever, whoops, excuse me, sorry.
Cooper rather, I just realized Cooper lives in Charleston, where we are now. And so we have vowed to try to make some sort of contact when all the dust settles from the Roni. But or we may have a yard beverage or something sometime. But that was a good.
I'd love to hear other people's experiences like this. I actually ran into Cooper on a trail on the Blue Ridge Parkway. I mean, just completely out of the blue a couple years ago. He was with his family and kids, and I was with my family. We kind of converged going different ways and had this like 20-minute conversation, and our families are both like, come on, because we're trying to keep going other ways. So has anybody else been in like an airport or just?
Oh, I saw him on a plane. Yeah.
It doesn't all have to be about Cooper.
No. Mine's about John Ingram.
Cooper is the thread that binds.
Yes.
So I never see John Ingram. And I literally run into him, I think 6 or 7 times, either at random hotels, at a bar, or on an airplane. And I laugh because literally it's been, I think, 6 or 7 times now. But we never see each other anywhere else. We just randomly around the country see each other.
I've had none of that. Sorry.
Oh, I ran into Cabell Philpott recently last year. His daughter and mine were in a Christmas show together, and down at Sika, and I ran into him after the show and we had a nice chat. But I think I hadn't seen him in a long time. I guess we used to see each other at Wake basketball games sometimes, but that's been at least 10 or 12 years ago. So that was a funny coincidence.
The last time I saw Cabell Philpott, it was one of the few people. It might have been after like one of the first and the only like physical in-person reunion I ever may have gone to. But he was managing the Hard Rock Cafe on Stratford, and I went to apply for a waiting position there when I was living in Winston-Salem. And I remember Cabell like giving me the interview and being, it was like very positive, but I felt guilty because I was like, I will not be following up on this job. After he was very kind and went through like, upselling beer. He was a good salesperson on it, but I wasn't buying that day. But it was good to see Cabell, and he was very warm and welcoming.
Well, while we were talking about the connections to Cooper Williams, I wanted to get another piece of Summit memorabilia. Somehow in 9th grade, we got pins with our classmates, not baby pictures, but maybe kindergarten picture or something. And so I was giving Cooper. So that's another piece of Summit memorabilia.
Wow.
Let me tell you a Cabell story. I ran into him, I guess it was last year now, in a grocery store. And he and I were recalling your ninth grade year when he did not get to go to Washington. Do you remember he got in some kind of trouble? And after about 3 tries and you're out, he really was out. And I was the one who got to tell him that he would not be allowed to go.
Oh.
And as I recall, he called me something ugly. Can you imagine? And my response to him was, I'm glad I'm hard of hearing, and walked away. But I reminded him what he called me the other day, and he did remember.
You did remember?
Oh, no.
You know, and I'm surprised, Miss Adams, did you tell him the boop story?
I don't think I did.
That stuck in my head. But the moral of which I know was be nice and don't make assumptions and don't call it, but I don't remember specifically what happened, but I just remember I could hear vividly your voice saying boop, boop, or it was boop, right?
Yes, I think that's right. I'd forgotten.
There was somebody that you felt you had tormented or something as a child,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, that one. You're right, Colin.
Stuck.
What he's talking about.
I guess Cabell wasn't thinking of that.
I think he forgot that story.
And
So I see Cabell sometimes at Westwood Swim and Tennis Club in Winston-Salem. Cabell's there, and Elizabeth Turner and Stuart Kepley and some other, like Laura Falk, although she was a year ahead of us. And so and Tucker Pollard when she's in town, her family goes there. So it's a good way to see people. But
Yeah.
Not this summer. I didn't really see, even though I went a lot, I didn't see them much there this summer.
Well, you have to tell all of them that we would love to see them at some point for our next reunion.
Okay, I'll definitely do that.
If y'all are all in Winston and we're allowed to be in person at some point, then,
Martha, did you put on your apron? I believe you did.
Yeah, I got the apron going. It's got Mrs. Caps's famous calligraphy now, and everybody's signature and birth date. So we could wish everybody happy birthday on the correct day.
I couldn't find mine. I looked where I thought it was, Mom. And
It must have been in the laundry.
no, I think it's in the boys' costume box.
Deanna, when have you seen Cullen in person most recently?
Pardon?
When have you seen Cullen in person most recently?
Oh, July. I started to say hibernated. We quarantined and we tested and we went through all kinds, and we got his family in Winston for a full week, and then the rest of the tests came through and we went to the beach together. So that was it.
Great.
And that was wonderful. 2 weeks together.
That was great. And we need to make it happen again. But it's just my oldest now is back. He's face-to-face. He's doing face-to-face. It's his senior year at Charleston County School of the Arts, where he's going for theater.
Good.
He's a senior.
Senior, isn't that nuts?
Nuts.
But yeah, he's back in person and socializing, and I'm back at work, and so if we do go back to Winston-Salem anytime soon, I mean it'll be yard meals again, won't it, Mom?
Mm-hmm.
It was fun in July. The weather's changing.
Yeah, I'd much rather have. Yeah.
FaceTime is good.
maybe that's something Summit could consider, is buying a bunch of the outside heaters, and setting up social distancing outside spaces for all of the alum who want to see their family.
Yeah, that
we could pay for it. It's a little donation to Summit, but we get a space we can go for the that keeps us warm.
Lovely heated tents is Scott Richardson at Village Tavern across the street.
That's a good idea. There are drinks there.
He would welcome you. welcome you to this patio. But the truth is, you know, our weather just changed this week, almost slightly cooler, right? But the true test of this in-person experience will be very different when the weather turns much chillier, when we experience rainy days. Because Michael talked about some of the things that our maintenance staff had done to enhance the campus. We put up tents so that kids and teachers can be outdoors. We added some awning. And we took some spaces that already were very outdoor oriented right outside. For example, Emmy's old classroom would have had a back door to a beautiful garden area. So we've just made those spaces easier for the teachers to use. But it will be the real test when the weather changes, or if we have snow days, or if we have some, you know, really wet weather. But so far so good in person.
You know, skating, roller skating around the underneath of the first grade building was a lot of fun. And there was a map of the United States painted on the concrete. And we had that big dirt hill, and the people could play King of the Hill. You remember the big dirt hill?
I don't have the best memories of King of the Hill. I remember being I remember that being fairly traumatic, actually.
Remember
a lot of jump roping too. And digging out of underneath the sandbox, you know, to get your arm underneath the sandbox wall and out the other side.
That was hard to do.
Still a very popular activity.
Hello. This is my 7-year-old Jason.
Hello.
I mean, 8-year-old. He just turned 8.
Yeah.
Say hi.
Hello.
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 We were heading to bed, but it was really nice to see you all.
Great to see you, Elizabeth.
So good to see
We'll
you.
see each other again soon.
And Elizabeth, where are you?
I'm sorry?
Where are you with your palm waving in the wind?
Oh, this is obviously a fabulous picture from Zoom. I'm in Charlottesville, Virginia, but I just like the Zoom. It makes me feel like I'm not here. Y'all take care.
Well,
Bye, Elizabeth. Good night.
Bye.
Bye, Elizabeth.
Well, a lot of people in our class had parents who were teachers at Summit at one point. I mean, Dana, you're here, of course, and of course, Jordan's mom, and I mean, the list goes on and on. Elizabeth Turner's mom, Ansley's mom, Tucker's mom, Brennan's mom.
Brennan?
Mama,
Cry.
Yes.
Alexa Memory's mom was here, Catherine.
David Martin's mom was there.
John Hamilton's mom.
There you go.
Yeah.
Mr.
that's a lot.
Hamilton. I mean, go ahead.
I was just thinking, that's a lot of.
That was a lot, kind of. That was more than average, right? I guess it would have to be. It seemed like we were sort of the staff kid class.
The staff kid class.
Good many.
Daughters are both staff kids now, so it's like they feel that pain.
It was the tuition discount class.
Hey, don't knock it.
I'm all in.
Yeah.
Well, oh, does anybody know, speaking of family members, what's anybody know anything about DeBrocca, where she is? Like,
I was talking to Elizabeth Turner and Stuart the other day. I think they're friends with her on Facebook, and maybe they've seen her. But I don't know.
What about Doris Katz's? Is anybody? I think she's somebody I have not seen.
Yeah, she got her PhD and she was also working at her family restaurant. But that was probably 5 years ago, maybe. But time flies, it could be longer ago.
Somebody DeBrocca? I don't.
Yeah, let me look.
DeBrocca Ninner, and she was DeBrocca Feemster.
Yeah.
Was Ninner's.
Yeah, I keep up with her through the R.J. Reynolds class. I know she's still in Winston, but I don't know. I just know she's in Winston. I saw her probably 5 years ago, but I don't know what she's up to right now.
What about Will Fisher?
It's
Yep.
been a,
Will Fisher. Butters.
I can't really remember.
What was his sister's What was his sister's name?
he's a mortgage analyst. Let me see where he is.
What's
Huh?
Will's younger sister's name?
I didn't remember he had a younger sister. I just remember
Oh.
Ben.
Maybe I'm making.
Oh wait, Ben was Will
Something with
Gaddy's
an S.
brother.
Something with an S.
Sloan. Is it Sloan?
Sloan.
Sloan
Yeah.
Fisher. That's exactly right.
Go to Summit. Her
Yeah. Will is in Memphis, Tennessee, and he's a mortgage guy at Wells Fargo.
Oh, well, I'm at Wells Fargo. I need to look him up. That'll be really easy to do tomorrow. Little IM on Skype.
Even with the privacy settings?
Yeah, we can look up every Wells Fargo employee's name. It's just at our fingertips. So
There's no privacy in corporate America.
And how about Will Murphy?
Is he still in Atlanta? He's somebody who I actually saw a few of the times when I saw him on a couple of occasions shooting stuff in Atlanta. I got up with Will Murphy, but it's been probably 7 years or so.
What's he doing, Colin?
Yep, he was doing something artistic. And I can't remember what. I'm sorry. Shoot.
It was graphic arts of some kind.
It was graphic arts of some
Yeah.
kind. Absolutely. And I can't.
Okay. How about Martha Ann McKinley?
Oh, don't know.
You know, I think I got a Christmas present that was meant for her in 3rd grade because my name was Martha. Put it in my cubby.
It's in your memorabilia pile, I'm sure.
I probably saw it. It was a stuffed animal. A plush. They're called plushes now.
Oh, yeah.
I think she's in West Virginia. I'm friends with her on Facebook, so every once in a while I like whatever she's doing. But that's all I really know.
Thanks, Ansley.
Yeah.
West Virginia. Okay. Cool. And somebody earlier mentioned Elliot Blanchard. What? Anybody know his whereabouts and what
Elliot and I went to college together, and he was in New York last time we spoke. And I think he was doing something. Go ahead. With, I want to say animation.
Oh wow.
Yeah. He was sort of part of an entrepreneur or something like that, like running his own life or business or whatever.
Hope to do that someday.
Running at one's life does
Run my
have
own life, yes.
Well,
Mr.
there's a
Booth,
cool
I'll
thing.
tell my little girls about the squirrels. My children love wildlife.
Talking about that to somebody.
Squirrel watch and raccoon watch, and they love all the wildlife that oddly enough is here in the West End. But I tell them about the little trained squirrels, and they're so deeply envious and would love to go back to a time where school heads had squirrels coming out of their pockets. It seems very magical to them.
It was.
It was. And Mr. Lewis, I'm grateful to you for choosing such wonderful teachers at Summit.
They somehow found the school through each other. But there were just a lot of people who showed up because a friend was already teaching there. And I didn't have to advertise. The teachers that were there were strong enough personalities that they did the advertising for the school, whether through their church or through the choir or somewhere. They would interest other people in what the school was about. The school was pretty undeveloped. in the 1950s, we didn't have a gym, didn't have a library, didn't have sidewalks. But people like Loma Hopkins and Rachel Malcolm, who were friends, showed up and brought others with them. It was pretty wonderful. We're having Sarah Dalrymple is organizing a former staff or veteran staff Zoom later this week. It'll be interesting to see who
Go see your mom, Jordan.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah. She was encouraging me to do this. She knew that I wouldn't, but then I was like, oh, I was so
You
excited.
showed her. You showed her.
I
Rachel
wanted to
Malcolm
say-
was the reason I came to Summit.
Oh,
Rachel got
really?
me. Mhm.
I have fond memories of those, her reading to us and just sitting and relaxing and listening to stories. It's such a wonderful thing for children to just sit and listen, you know?
Yeah.
And Mrs. Lewis, I wanted to thank you I remember you coming. I think it started when we were 4, coming in and teaching us vocabulary, the French vocabulary, and that has stuck with me forever. And I just,
good.
Yes, I wish that other, young kids, I mean, I know today there are all sorts of things, but I thought that was just so important. And I've always, I mean, I will remember the vocabulary forever. Your little basket of like vegetables and yep.
Fruits and vegetables.
Mr. Lewis, I wanted to tell you that I have thought about you so much when I went through my Montessori training to be a Montessori teacher. I finally understood geometry. So it is possible.
I have to say that's still one of my favorite classes I ever took.
What level?
Me too.
Oh, good.
Love that class.
Oh.
Yeah.
And now you put it on your walls.
Exactly.
That's pretty cool.
Right.
Also, I mean, it's tooting my own horn, but I remember there was a period of maybe about a month or so that Mr. Lewis would allow me to tell a joke at the beginning of class every day.
Was that so as to get it out of your system?
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly. And then the pressure started, because then I had to like find jokes.
Do you remember the one in our textbook that said, "What did the acorn say when it grew up?"
No.
Gee, I'm a tree.
George's were better.
Martha, you should have a glass of wine and then tell it.
Probably so. Probably so.
That'll be September 2021 when we're all in person having a glass of wine at Summit. Our treat.
That sounds great.
I hope for that. And my last time there seeing any large group of teachers was for the unfortunate event of Ellen Bonnet's celebration of life there. But man, it was, and Sandra, I don't know how I missed seeing you, but
Because I had to leave early. I had something I had to do. So I was there early and left early.
But it was just so it was just so wonderful to see so many people that Betty Earl being one of them, and Jordan, your mom, and Pat was there, right, then? That day? Yeah. Anyway,
she was.
And that community of teachers, and like you were saying, Mr. Lewis, that people came because their friends were there, and just that was a beautiful thing to see again there.
That reminds me, JD Roach and I see each other at piano recitals. Our kids' piano recitals. So he's in Louisville.
Is that who we've been seeing?
Yes.
Yeah.
I bet Doug and Bingle are checking off every name. Are you?
Well, I'm just still identifying people.
Good. Good.
All right,
Martha,
guys.
thanks
It was
so much
great
for
seeing
doing.
everybody. I gotta go.
Ansley,
Okay,
so
bye,
good to see
Ansley.
you.
Good to see all of you.
Thanks everybody for coming. Hope to see you all again soon.
Bye.
See you, Ansley.
Martha, thanks so much, you and Sarah, for organizing this. It's been fabulous.
Yep.
Well, this
Good
is
night,
a great
everybody.
way to have to be able to host without cleaning your house or preparing any food. I highly
What a
recommend
deal.
it.
What a
That's
deal.
the magic of Zoom. We should do this again. It doesn't have to be a formal occasion. We can do it anytime.
And Sally, you don't have to wait 10 more years to do it. You see?
Right, let's not, please.
Bye-bye.
Anytime.
Bye, Dr. Adam.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Thank you so much.
Bye. Thanks, everybody.
Bye, y'all. Stay safe.
You
Okay,
too,
see
buddy.
ya.
Yeah.
Thanks for coming to Summit.
Okay. Yeah.
Thanks, Mom.
That's good.
Love you, Mom.
Good night, everyone.
Good
Good
night.
night.
Off we go.
Off we go.
Okay, I'm leaving the meeting.
Find
This-
your apron.
What's that?
Find your apron.
I will find my apron, Mother. Take care.
Colin,
Martha, thanks again.
Colin, a quick message. I told my daughter that you were on the call. We watched Outer Banks this summer. And she said, I did not know it was a red carpet reunion.
Oh.
We're waiting for season 2, like the rest of America.
It'll in about a year, I reckon.
Good. All right.
It'll be coming
Well, I
out.
hope to see you before that.
I hope so too. Thanks so much.
All right. Y'all take care. Deanna, I hope to see you soon.
Right, Sarah, thank you so much for doing all the work.
My pleasure, Martha. You were the brainchild. So thank you for getting the group together.
Well, it's my pleasure. So I kind of grew up, I have older half brothers and sisters, but in the house, it was mostly just me. And so my Summit classmates for all those years are very special to me.
They're your big family. Great.
Yes.
Good. All right.
Y'all make a good pair, Sarah and Martha.
Aw, thank you.
Great, we should do it again. Colin, it's great to see you, and your email was so sweet. So
Well, wonderful to see you. And I really do. I hope we can all do a real live thing where we can hug each other's necks, you know?
yeah, that'd be nice.
All right. Take care,
Good
y'all.
night, everybody.
Bye,
Sleep
you
well.
guys. Thank
Bye.
you.
Night, Mom. Love you. Talk to you soon.
Bye, Martha.